So after my bar mitzvah, I started going into alcohol, which led me into weed and hashish, snorting speeds. And as I was searching, I kept on going more deep for this joy that I was looking for. And so at the age of 16, I had an incident happen to me that led me to male prostitution. Through a series of events, my dad found out about it. I was kicked out of the house. I ended up in jail. I was in prison with a lot of files on my personal,
And how old were you at this point?
16.
16.
I'm a young kid.
Okay.
People was using me, tricking me. At one point, the friends that I thought I have ended me up on the streets. I had no place to live, couldn't go home. I was stealing from my dad too. So it was a very difficult time, and it really led me into this suicidal place. I was pushed out till the end of me, It's like, wow.
Did you have brothers or sisters in your
Yes,
family?
brothers and sisters. They were also into drugs,
So they rebelled also.
They rebelled also. I won't share their story too much. It's their story. We do have my sister's testimony. She was into a lot of things. She was drugged, almost died on So Be It. You can go watch that, Montreal. And so at the age of 16, I get to the end of myself and I'm standing like on an intersection.
Yeah.
And I have all these directions. I'm like in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. I see the direction to the criminal house. I know he will take me in. I can sleep there, but then I will sell drugs for him and I will go steal things for him. I see the house of the gigolo and I know that he wants to abuse me and use me. And for some reason, I make the choice to go home, 3 a.m. I go to the doorstep of my house, get on my knees. I knock on the door and I start to cry. My dad opens the door and I look up to him and he said, "You don't need me, you need Jesus."
Right at the door he said that.
At the door,
Yeah.
on my knees, 3 a.m. This is the moment where I decided to change my life and devote my life to Jesus. I got up on my knees, gave my dad the biggest hug, and the next thing he do is take me to get baptized.
Right there.
Yes, come on, let's go. He was so excited.
So he saw that right at that moment,
Yes.
you received the Lord.
The change, I received the Lord. It is a miracle, Michael. It's like my addictions. I was going to drug addict places. I
Yeah.
couldn't stop doing drugs. I tried and failed and failed. The moment I accepted Jesus, it's something that changed my heart. New heart. And it was so uplifting for my life, and it gave me hope, and it gave me a purpose. And I'm on the streets with my colleague Jeff telling people about Jesus. Oh, you have to hear about this good news, the hope that he gives us.
All right, so how many years ago was this?
I'm 31 today. This was when I was 16, almost 17.
14, 15 years.
Yes.
And the fire's burning bright.
Oh,
the excitement
so
is
hot.
there. So
Yes.
it wasn't just a momentary thing, you got free, you were changed.
Yes.
And you stayed changed.
Amen.
And you continue to experience the goodness of God.
All the time. It's such a proper, correct way to live life. It gives me the answers to everything. Any doubt, I go to Jesus and it's just there, the answers to life.
But what happens when people hear your story and they see what's happened in your life?
So a lot of my friends, they would point at me, and some even believer friends, they would point at me and say, "This is the last man that's going to believe in Jesus." And today, I'm a walking testimony of don't give up on praying for your friends, your family, your coworkers. God is in control of everything, They see how my life changed. I'm a married man. I have a beautiful child. I have a job. I'm consistent. I'm diligent. They can see the fruit of my healthy smile.
Yeah.
So it's really been such a change and such a testimony to my friends to see how from this criminal who they couldn't even leave me alone in their own house to trusting me, and it's just been such a fantastic testimony for them to see
the
that.
new birth, the ultimate proof of the new birth is the new life. It's, in my drug days, before I used LSD, I heard about it, and they called it taking a trip. And I didn't know what it meant until I got high the first time on LSD and I took a trip. When I got saved, I would tell all my friends that were also drug users and would trip on LSD, I said, remember, we didn't know what it meant to take a trip until we took a trip. I said, well, being born again, when you're born again, it really is. You start a new life.
It's a new
something,
life.
It's a different person on the inside, and it's undeniable. I mean, you've lived it out. You've experienced it. When people say, well, it was just time for change. You tried to change. You hit the wall.
Again and again and again and again.
Right, right. So, and then something just happened. You cried out for mercy. And for sure, the prayers of your parents for many, many, many years, they were building. So when the answer came, it was like a flood, which is encouragement. Just to say this to everybody watching and listening, don't be discouraged in your prayers for your family, because those prayers are having a cumulative effect. And when the answer finally comes, it's going to be like a torrent of rain poured out. All the years of praying and God answering dramatically. So, Elisha, in your own life now, how is it that you just found the place? I just want to tell people about Jesus every day. How did that happen?
Well, if you have something that is so good, I'm a person who I want to share it with everyone, you know.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
something good. Take a look at this. It's with anything in life. You have a nice, something that works in home, something that nice cars. You're going to share it with your friends. It's something that you can't contain. And Jesus did something in my life and I cannot contain it. So I share it with anybody and everybody I meet.
And that's the way it should be. Out of the overflow of our heart, we share it with others. You served in the army.
Yes.
But you are now a believer.
Yes.
Okay, so how was that being a believer in the IDF?
Wow, that's a great question. As a believer, I joined the unit Iron Dome. We are the
Really?
unit that intercepts the missiles that coming in from out of the borders. And it was difficult to be a believer, believing soldier. You feel isolated. It's like a spiritual desert. You're all alone. You don't have other people who believe in Jesus. Sometimes you come home once a month. So you don't have that community to go to once a week.
Yeah.
And it can get tough at times, you know, especially as a new believer. So it's tough. But today I'm a much more mature believer in Jesus, and I have been serving in the army since 7-10. I've been drafted in twice.
Okay, so on reserve. So hundreds of thousands of Israeli men have been drafted back in.
Yes, me, my brother and brother-in-law immediately joined into the military to protect our homes. It was a very, like a shock, you know, everybody going in, and it was very, very intense for us.
Is it important for you as an Israeli to know that Christians around the world are standing with you?
Michael, I can't, you may give me smile on my face because I'm telling you, the knowledge of the Christians praying for Israel, and especially for me as a personal, a lot of people have been reaching out, telling me that they've been praying for me, has made the biggest impact in my personal life. It's been such a testimony to know that the people who have been praying for me, it's been like something that's been giving me strength and power to serve and help. And it's just, wow, prayer, it works. And I'm telling you, I'm a testimony of it. And the way God has been keeping me and holding me while I was in the army, it's because people have been praying for me, and I know it.
And does your average Israeli know that they have Christian supporters around the world, that many governments are turning against Israel, but many Christians still stand with Israel?
So a lot of the Christians who would give like equipment, material stuff, and even like basic essentials, a lot of my friends would receive this, like my army friends. And it was just so exciting to share that with them that, hey, this is from people who believe in Jesus, and I believe in Jesus. And it was just such a nice opening. They're like, why are we getting this? Why are they loving us so much? And it was just such a great opportunity for me to share about Jesus and the love that he has for them.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. So all the support that came in from the Christians to the military, to Israel, has not been gone unnoticed, and it was really amazing. So thank you guys so much for that. Thank you.
All right. So friends, you heard it, as we say, out of the horse's mouth, straight from Israel, straight from the front lines in Israel, from someone serving in the military right now, that your love is being felt